Hey everybody, it's W9FFF, the ham radio dude, and today we're going to discuss the Baofeng DM-1801 and why you may want to avoid this radio. I was first made aware of these radios at Dayton Hamvention in 2019. I picked one up myself for $50, but today they retail for around $70. And for this price, what do you get with this radio? Well, the Baofeng DM-1801 provides dual band VHF UHF DMR radio capable of Tier 1, Tier 2 support, and dual time slots. Other features of this radio include 5 watts of transmit power, text messaging capability, a monitor mode, and up to 48 hours of battery life on a 2200 milliamp hour battery. Externally, there's a couple things I would like to address about this radio. My first impressions of it were this radio has a really slick look to it. I really enjoy how they made this a fairly large size or medium sized HT radio with a casing that was very similar to a Motorola in the look aspect of things. But the case is also more durable than, say, an older generation Baofeng like the UV5R. It just felt very solid and durable. I did like the keypad here. I thought they did a good job on the keypad. Everything presses really easy. But what I really like about this radio is the push-to-talk capability. And what I mean by that is this radio, no matter how you hold it because of the size, and they made it the right proportions, but however you hold it, it's really easy to hold down and press that push to talk button. And I don't know if you guys can or can't hear it, but it barely makes a noise. It's a really smooth button, and I think they did a great job with that. But there are a couple of things I don't like about this radio. I'm not a fan of the clip they used for the belt. And I know that's a very small complaint, but this is the same clip they've been using with their radios for many years. And it just feels very cheap, and it feels like it'll bend and break at any time, as opposed to the rest of this radio that has a very solid feel to it. The antenna is the same antenna that I think they use for every other Baofeng radio. And, you know, my main complaint, though, is just this clip right here. To remove the battery, you would press down right under where the clip is, and then you don't pull the clip, you pull the battery itself because the clip doesn't remove. That would be how you remove the battery, and looking on here, it does actually show that it's 2200 milliamp hours. If looks like I'm not going to be able to zoom in too well, there you go, 2200 milliamp hours, and it's supposed to be at 7.4 volts. And knowing what it's supposed to be, I'll pull out a multimeter here, see if I can't get that on camera. And I have negative to negative and positive to positive, and I show 7.74 volts. Placing the battery back into the radio is very easy, and there's a nice little slots on the side that you can use, and then when you slide it in, you'll hear a noticeable click. It's in there pretty nice. But when I turn on the radio, and once it loads up, this is where I started to run into a couple of small issues, and I want to point them out so you're aware of them. The first thing being is everything's in Chinese, so you'll see the bottom letters here where it says Chinese. And that's how the radio came. If I were to hit menu at this point, and let me see if I can't figure out how to disable that, but it's going to be difficult because everything's in Chinese, right? Being stuck in Chinese, I decided to go onto my user manual and read the user manual and figure out how to change everything to English, and I ran into this. Language. The radio supports both English and Chinese language. The menu functions are as follows. Press menu to enter the menu mode. Okay. Press up, down to set. Then press menu to select. Press up, down to the radio setting. Then press menu to select. Press up, down to language setting. But none of this helps us if it's already in Chinese. How am I supposed to actually figure out what means language? I don't read the language. So what we figured out is if you hit menu, and I'll do my best to show this on the screen here. Maybe. Anyway, menu. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go down in the menu using the up and down arrows until you see this little, what looks like a wrench. And I'm sorry again that you can't quite see it, but it looks like a wrench. And once you get to that wrench setting, hit menu again. You'll then be presented with a list of options, 1, 2, and I think there might be a 3 on there as well. But just go ahead and hit menu on option 1, which will then get you into another list of options. You're going to want to scroll down to option 17. Option 17, there you go. And then hit menu. Once you're presented with option 17, you're going to see multiple options here, but the key is to look for the one with the 2 characters, and that means English. So once you see that, you're going to page up or down, depending on, and select menu again. This puts you into English mode now, and now you could see screen and language and so forth. So again, apologize about the screen here. It's kind of hard to actually make that appear, but now we are in English, which gets us on our journey to actually getting this radio taken care of. And what I mean by taken care of is to get it all configured and set up, ready for use. Once you're in the English setting, it makes it pretty easy to go through the menu and make changes that you might want to make. You could also program everything via the front panel display, which is nice. So for example, if you wanted to get into a repeater, it could all be done on the front panel display, but it is kind of a difficult task. So Baofeng has the DM-1801 software, which allows you to program this radio and make a code plug for it via a computer. And Baofeng included a programming cable that plugs into the speaker and the microphone jacks on the side of this radio. So that's very convenient, but that's not where my problems lie with the radio. My two main complaints with this radio are, number one, the microphone, which is right here. There is no microphone gain in any of the settings on this radio. So whatever kind of mic volume you have, you're stuck with. And the reason that's bad is I have extremely low audio on this radio, to the fact where people have to turn their radio all the way up to be able to hear me. And then when it's somebody else's turn, they have to turn the radio down. Very inconvenient for everybody else, but very frustrating for an end user like myself who is just trying to talk on the radio. Additionally, maybe the most annoying issue that I ran into with this radio is whenever I transmit on the VHF frequencies, it will pop my GFCI outlets. That becomes a pain. And so I thought it was only my house, even though my house is fairly new. I know older outlets will eventually pop, are susceptible to RF interference, but I did take this around to a few different houses and test it out. And if you're keying up within, say, 5 to 10 feet of an outlet, it will pop the outlet. Very concerning, kind of annoying and frustrating as well. So there's some concerns there with the radio tripping the outlets. And is it a spurious emission issue or something else that's going on that might be more severe? I don't know. I do have another radio on the way to test it out to see if it's all the radios or if it's maybe just a bad radio here. But my last and final issue with this radio is also the fact that when transmitting on VHF or UHF for more than, say, 15 seconds, this radio starts to get really hot right at the antenna base, which would probably indicate that this is not a resonant antenna. But it also gets hot here on the radio clips or on these screws. If somebody were to ask me what DMR radio under $100 would you choose, it would be a hard decision, because if you want dual band, you're limited to probably the GD77 by Radio Oddity. If you're okay with the single band radio, the MD380 is a solid radio, and both of them are custom firmware capable radios. Custom firmware gives you the ability to make changes that maybe the manufacturer's left out. For example, the custom firmware, the GD77, allows you to adjust the mic gain if you have issues. Those little things actually will add up. The support on a custom firmware as well is way better than the support you'll see on a Baofeng radio. And I say that in the sense that the firmware on this radio hasn't been updated. Constantly seeing updates on the GD77 firmware that's custom. However, I'm not able to discuss too much into the GD77 and if it has any of the same issues with any of the outlets, as I don't have one of them, unfortunately. But what I would say is if you want a radio that's going to be reliable and durable, this radio is probably not going to be the radio for you. Although it has some great features and it works well, I find that you'll probably be disappointed in a lot of the issues that at least I have seen. And when I get that new radio in, I'll be very excited to test it out and see if I can't replicate the issues, but also to test both of them on a spectrum analyzer and be able to determine whether or not these things are compliant with FCC regulations pertaining to spurious emissions. Anyway, that's going to be the episode for today. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them below. Hit the like button if you'd be so kind, and if you'd like to see more videos in the future, please hit the subscribe button. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time. This is W9FFF, the Ham Radio Dude, 73.